Are you ready, Paul? Can you handle it?
I'm going to try.
With that wind flying around like Dorothy?
Live! One of us is surviving a hurricane. Another one of us survived a hurricane a couple of weeks ago. And the other one, we don't know what he survived.
I haven't survived anything weather-related. I've never been in a tornado. I've never been in, like, anything. I've been in a blizzard, but I don't think that's really that bad. Like, you get 10 inches of snow, I don't feel like that's, other than a workout, I don't feel that. Well, I guess I have a snowblower. I'm sitting here acting like I work out. Never mind. I have a snowblower.
Guys, it's game week.
It is game week.
Game week. We've been waiting for this for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, wherever we're at. 9 months.
And actually, since I actually have something I have to do, this game week came faster than I wanted because I'm still trying to figure out the YouTube channel.
So I got, of course, like you, I got YouTube TV, and I will be at a soccer game on 2 soccer games actually Saturday morning, and hopefully he's okay. Think he's okay.
I think he was something with the dog. Maybe he was just.
I thought it had something to do with the water. I think he was choking on something.
Oh.
I think he grabbed some water and then he like that and he left. Hopefully he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be back. In the meantime, I got a soccer game, 2 soccer games to go to Saturday. So I got YouTube TV here at my house and I've downloaded their app. And so hopefully I can watch it without too much inconvenience at the ballpark because his game's at 8, so it'll be done by 9, the first game. So I'll be able to watch kickoff and probably a good portion of the game until then he has another game at 11:15 or 10:15. I don't remember. You okay there, bud?
My dog. You guys couldn't hear my dog?
I did. That's what I told Dean. I said I think you went to.
I had to go because it's just the 2 of us. The wife's at a Dixie Chicks concert. And my my youngest is out with his friend,
I think they're just the Chicks now.
Well,
just
right.
The Chicks, yeah.
I still call them the Dixie Chicks. I don't do that. But that's what my wife does. She's like, it's the Chicks.
It's the Chicks.
She's seen them 3. This is her 4th time seeing them. It's like Bon Jovi. She's seen Bon Jovi like 7 times.
Well, she's seen them all. They've all kissed and made up from the big fight that they had years ago and broke up. And
they're
back together.
Going. They went to them in Kansas City. My wife and her girlfriends from college, they all get together for a concert. They love Pink. Like, they just love concerts.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, the concerts I like those when you're sitting there. Like, the best concert I've ever been to was Hank Williams Jr. Came out with a glass of whiskey, his guitar, sat down and just sang. Like, no flashing lights. So that's my kind.
Yeah. I remember years ago I watched the Grassroots when they were at their peak in concert in our hometown, and there was nothing fancy. It was just a stage, no background, no lights, no nothing.
That's the way
4 or 5 of them were up there just playing their instruments, singing live to us.
So aside from surviving a hurricane today, I was a little delayed getting on with you guys because I just found out that I will be covering a high school football game down here Friday night.
Oh,
what do you mean?
It's going to be between the 2 schools. One is called Interlochen and the other is Providence. Providence is a private school here that they produce a lot of D1 talent. So,
but what do you mean by covering?
So you're doing it for like a local TV station for their Friday Night Light special?
For the newspaper for the Interlochen is the school from Palatka, Florida, and so I'll actually be writing it for their paper.
So you'll be writing an article. That's cool.
That is cool. So how did you get hooked up with that?
Well, I've been covering high school football for the Florida Times-Union for Jacksonville's paper. I've done that for a few years.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you Google my name and Florida Times-Union or whatever, you'll see all the stuff I've done will pop up. But
I don't want to know what else might pop up. No.
Right.
That's awesome. Your
But,
special talents that you're hiding from us, I see.
Yeah, over the last few years, the papers, the Jacksonville paper actually gets printed in Daytona, and they the high school games were finishing too late to even get stuff in like the Saturday paper, and so they had basically just been taking stuff from the coaches and putting it on the website Friday night. But apparently, this local paper, they need somebody here to cover the game, and so I guess I was on the short list.
Well, that's good for you. That is kind of a cool thing to do.
It is. And anytime you get paid to go watch football, it's awesome.
Oh yeah, and high school football too. There's something special about high school.
There really is. It's the most
on
pure
a Friday
form.
night under the lights.
Friday night belongs to high school.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, okay. So it is game week, and I want to just start off with Kirk Ferentz's quote because I don't know what's funny about it, but everybody seems to be laughing and making mimes over it. Kirk said about the punter for Utah State, he's a good punter. What was funny about that? Can somebody explain to me what was funny about that?
You don't get where that comes into play. Like that's the most Iowa thing ever is for Kirk to compliment the punter.
Yeah,
like you can't put the two together.
Okay, I guess I had a hard time figuring it out, but all the mimes that were out there, and I saw one by Chad Lessical today that I just about died laughing.
Well, I mean, if punting is winning, KF saying they have a good punter is a compliment.
When you're the school that sells shirts that says punting is winning, and you come up there and they're like, well, what about Utah State? Well, they have a great punter.
Great punter.
Like you're afraid of their punter. So, I mean, you don't get the irony in that. That's where everybody just took it. Oh, I know what you're talking about because Twitter exploded with a bunch of people just retweeting his quote, right? They were just saying this is the most Iowa thing ever. They were just saying all kinds of different Kirk Ferentz things, complimenting the punter.
That's football.
It's honestly, and if, I put on the stats up there on my webpage earlier today or Facebook page earlier today. Actually, when you look at them, they're pretty comparable stats, both of them, and they both turn out to be from Australia. How's that?
Yeah. I mean, if you look around college football, Australia is they're people are starting to realize, hey, those boys can kick.
They come from the land down under.
Iowa better be working on their next Australian.
Dang. I mean, I'm losing weight, but my face is fat. It must be my camera.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm looking at my face and I go, it doesn't appear to be slimming down, but my body is.
the scale is lying to me.
I'm wearing a shirt that I normally wear 2X, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable in this extra large shirt today.
Well, I'm wearing my normal one, but it's not tight anymore. I'm wearing it's not going to mean anything this year, but it's going to be my podcast shirt until they prove otherwise. I could say it all I want to, but we got to actually see it, right? So this is my podcast shirt until that day.
Yeah. So for there are 3 years that I bought an Iowa football schedule T-shirt. Okay. All 3 years, Iowa did not perform the way they should have. Like last year, 8-5 overall. I'm wearing last year's scheduled football shirt. I go, that's it. I am buying no more because that should have been a 10-win team easily.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
We got to break the cycle. I changed my underwear. I mean, we all got to do something.
Oh, and by the way, I don't wear Hawkeye gear on game day.
Oh.
Because it's when I wear it, they lose. So
I can't wait till my wife's family sees what I'll be wearing this weekend. Because I won't be able to watch the game. My wife's uncle passed, so I'll be there. But when we get to the farm, change it into my Hawkeye game day gear.
Yeah.
Like we'll be at the funeral. I'm wearing funeral clothes. I'm not going to be like that. But yeah, don't expect a video from me this weekend, right? I still got another week to get this YouTube thing figured out because I won't even know anything about this.
I wish I was there to kind of help you go through it because it's really hard to explain it all. Hopefully I was thinking your son would be pretty tech savvy that he could help you with it.
He's so busy he can't. He's full-time student and yeah. He's got other stuff going on. I don't really want to ask him.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a bunch of people trying. But let's get into this Iowa thing.
Yeah, let's go.
That was 10
Okay, so
minutes of a
we're
pregame
playing
show.
Utah State. We're a 25-point favorite, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The over-under is 45 points or 44 points?
It was 43.5 the last I looked.
Okay.
So, but it could be getting higher.
Okay. All right.
William Hill had him at 43.5 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
geez, in order for Iowa to do the 25 points over, they're going to have to allow and do 40-something points. They're going to have to allow some scoring by Utah. That's if they want to, help.
right.
Help the bettors. I mean, after all, Big Ten changed their policy on when they can turn in all their available people on Saturday, just so the bettors know when to have enough time to change their bets.
It's $1 billion industry. I mean,
well, no, but do you get the irony in this that we're helping out the gamblers, and we've suspended a guy, and we got all this gambling investigation going on. And we got a guy suspended for a whole year who really doesn't deserve to be suspended for a whole year. And we're promoting gambling, but yet he gambles and he's cut off for the year.
No,
anyway.
I mean, you're right, but those rules are changing now.
I hope so.
They are. They're not going to, they're going to change the rules where guys but you can't bet on your school team. That's what got him in trouble. He bet on the Iowa team. Right, so he has interaction with those players. That's why.
Yeah.
The thing that they should really look at though is he bet on them to win, something you have no control over other than playing good.
Right.
So if you'd have bet on them to lose, then because that could mean that he talked to the players and said, "Hey, we could all make some money if we lose this." Right.
Oh yeah. If we're betting the teams to lose or we're betting the under, then that's problematic.
That's where. That's why I still don't think Noah Shannon should be suspended. I know he did wrong, but he bet on them to win. So, but it's just, it's a gray area, right? Yeah. Obviously, I'm a Noah Shannon fan. Mm-hmm. So
we all are.
So I'm looking at it at a different angle. I know what he did is wrong, right? But since he bet on them to win, I feel completely different about him compared to Bruce, right? Because Bruce is an offensive player and bet the under on a lot of the games.
And they're saying right now, they're saying that there's no evidence that any of the outcomes of the games were decided by what these players did in the game. You can't tell me that Bruce didn't decide the outcome in the game by dropping pass or, not catching a pass or fumbling a ball at the 1 yard line or whatever.
But that's where it gets. You can't prove it though, right? That's what they're saying. There's no evidence. You can't prove that happened.
Right.
So,
all right, moving on from the gambling.
That is that those guys are told, from the first day they step on campus what the gambling rules are.
No, you're right. You're right.
And
right.
If he'd have gambled on the Jets and Dolphins, so be it. But
no, you're 100% right. You can't bet on your team, like your school. Period. Yeah. Because you obviously know these players. You're a part of the athletic department and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, true. There are rules, and, I'm all for, the rules and stuff. But the way gambling is and the way colleges are promoting it now, it's like, figure something out.
Yeah, you're already bedfellows with the gambling companies. So it's like, do as I say, not as I do, it definitely, but then again, you know what? They're in bed with beer companies too, right? Budweiser or whoever. And now you can buy beers at the games, but the 18-year-old freshmen aren't allowed to drink the beer either. So,
no. Right. Also too, I believe they're in bed in the NIL and, one of the gambling things in Iowa.
Right.
Okay. So moving on, Utah State has decided on their quarterback, Cooper Legis.
Yeah, he's going to be their quarterback. He was their quarterback last year too. He's not bad.
Yeah. Well, okay. Should we be concerned because I know this is Utah State, and everybody's kind of overlooking them as fans, but they do run a spread. We don't do well traditionally against a spread. I'm sorry. I'm choking on something. But
you want me?
Yeah. Go ahead. I had another thought I was going to add to it, but go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say that's changed. Like if you paid attention to Phil Parker's schemes changed. Mm-hmm. Like when they run the spread now, they do a lot of cover 2 man under, where they run like press. They're up on the receivers.
With the cash and not the 4-3.
Yeah, they got the cash on the field. Like he's changed. Like last year, his adjustment to Purdue was to press them, not let the receivers come off the line of scrimmage, and let your D-line eat. Let them get to the quarterback. Because if you just – what was before this with the spread, like remember the old Northwestern teams that would pick Iowa apart? They would sit back in zone, and an accurate quarterback would just sit there and find these holes, right?
Right.
So Phil Parker, and it helps having the talent that Iowa has on the back end.
Yeah. Is that the 5-2 that they use against the spread like that? Is that the 5-2 they sometimes use?
Well, it's the 4-2-5.
4-2-5. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the 4-2-5. Yeah. So where you have 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, right?
Okay. Yeah, I just said it wrong. Sorry, I acted like I know what I'm talking about, and there I just showed my ignorance.
No, it's fine. The first number is the D line.
Okay.
So a 5-2 defense is having 5 linemen.
Now, Hayden's defenses ran the 5-2.
What?
We ran 5-2 under Hayden Fry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we did.
That was back in the day.
Singe and Jared DeVries, and the 2 linebackers were like Hughes and Rollins.
They did back in those days for sure. I don't think he could do it. They also ran the 4-6.
Right.
Back then, I don't think that would work in today's game, right? Those 2 defenses in today's world would just get picked apart.
What's the difference between a 5-2 and a 3-4?
Outside linebackers that can blitz and cover.
Gotcha.
5-2, they didn't. I understand what you're saying, but in a 3-4, you have 4 athletic linebackers, and your D lineman is there just to eat, right? So the D lineman's there just to try to take up as many blocks as you can, and let the linebackers just, take care of business. And you could do exotic blitzes, but I understand what you're saying because it looks like the 5-2, right?
Right.
But the linebackers are farther out, right? They'll do a lot of pass coverage. They'll do a lot of different exotic blitzes in the 3-4. But I understand what you're saying. But with Utah State, no, I don't see an issue with them because the D-line is so good. I'm expecting cover 2 man under again, right? I don't expect a lot of blitzes, just like normal. And when he does blitz, it usually gets home because it's a shock, right? So I'm expecting a lot of press man, maybe not press as much, but man across the board, with 2 deep when they're not in their 4-3. Obviously, Phil Parker loves even on first down, regardless, he'll be in 4-3 for whatever reason. I don't know if that's their way to run that third linebacker out there. But in this game, no, I don't. I know they run this. I think they actually run the air raid, if I remember right.
That is correct. Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah, they run the air raid, and their head coach now, their staff is in shambles. The roster is in shambles. Like I'm hearing that they feel like they literally could run the ball on every down in this game, right? So even if they sat Cade,
we'll get there.
They could just run the ball on every. They're really feeling how good the line is. There isn't a set 5, right? They're going to play a rotation of 7 or 8 guys. They have their starting lineup, but Rusty Feth will come in and play some guard. Their tackle, he's got to get healthy, but it appears that he is healthy now, but he just doesn't know, as much as he could have had he not been hurt.
Is that Yaya Black?
No, I think he's talking about the right tackle.
I can't remember his name for whatever
Jackson.
reason. Yaya Black's on the defensive side. He never switched.
Oh,
he did in the spring for a few days or whatever. But
okay, I thought we were talking defense. I didn't know we were.
No, we were, but I was just saying with Utah State as a team. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the whole team here, but as a team, they're just their rosters in shambles. Their coaches are their head coach. What I was going for is their head coach is also their offensive coordinator. Like he can't really be a head coach because they don't have an offensive coordinator. So he's legit the offensive coordinator and head coach. Their offensive coordinator left or something happened.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead, Paul. Take it away.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is what Iowa does fundamentally. I don't think that we have to be overly concerned about being caught off guard. You could have the situation come up now, right, where they could kitchen sink us and just say, hey,
yes, like if Cade didn't play,
they
could kitchen sink us. You're right, and just make us complete passes.
But we'll see what happens.
Okay. What do they do on defense that makes us so sure that we could probably run the ball all game on them with no issues?
I think they're undersized.
They're way undersized, and the offensive line is they're much stronger. They're more cohesive together as a unit, and it appears that they're looking so much. I mean, these coaches are really excited about the O-line, which makes a lot of sense from all the stuff we've been hearing from Kirk. He has been more, should we say, cocky? Like, I don't know what to say. He's been like so much more positive about the O-line this year, or everything really. That's why I think he's seen something in Cade that he hasn't seen in a QB. Like He's just so like letting people know that we're a good team, right? So I think it's like size-wise, like Paul said. I think we're just going to crush them regardless. But if they bring 11 guys in the box and say, hey, complete a pass, no matter what we try to do. Some teams did that to us last year because we couldn't complete a pass. They just brought 9 – Kentucky in the bowl game. In that second half, when all we did was run, they just brought everybody up, which is why the last 5 minutes of the bowl game, when Brian was arguing with Kirk, and just started trying to score regardless, there was wide open receivers, but Joey overthrew them, right? They were just wide open downfield because Kentucky had everybody up. I think we'll see the same thing, but I don't think Utah State has anybody that's going to handle the beating that they're going to get.
I wonder if Kirk is also fairly confident or happy, not happy, but with Cade's unavailability the last couple of weeks. We've gotten more looks with other guys, right? So we're probably better prepared this year than we were, the last couple of years when Spencer was probably taking, 90% of the reps with the ones.
Yeah, I won't deny that. I don't know how much of a quarterback competition there really was, right? We kept being told there was a quarterback competition.
Batia and
Padilla. Peterson, Padilla, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing is going into last year, we had 2 experienced starting quarterbacks. Because the year before, as you know, Padilla had to come in for 3 or 4 games. And he won every game he played last year, except when he pulled himself out of.
Yeah. But experience doesn't make you accurate.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Did you guys get the idea that Deacon Hill could stand to lose some weight by Kirk Ferentz's comments? the biggest person pound wise, inch by inch or by inches, whatever.
I don't think Kirk worries. He's 253. Nate Stanley was 240, 245, right? And Petrus, what was he, 230? Like, he was a big dude.
Nate Chandler was close to that
But
size.
he was like 6'7".
Yeah, I was going to say Nate Chandler was like 6'7".
Yeah. No, I don't think he. I mean, yeah, would they probably want him at like 242? Maybe that's what they did with Nate. He could have came in at 250. I don't know, but maybe they want Deacon to get down to 240 range. Maybe that's the range they want with their big quarterbacks.
Right.
But you got Cade sitting there at 6'1", 205 or whatever. Yeah. So
I'm fully convinced if Cade does start, and it sounds like he will, even though he's listed as questionable. Although I was trying to get on the bandwagon, hey people, let's wait till game time, at least 2 hours before game time, to see if he's on the unavailable list or not. But he wouldn't be anyway. But I fully believe he will be there. But do they change up just to kind of help protect him a little bit and get him used to everything? Do they change up the offense a little bit, like maybe take out the quarterback runs? And maybe like, when he's under center and going to pass, he has to take a 3 or 4 step back to pass or something. Do they take that out and maybe he strictly passes out of the shotgun?
I don't think you limit yourself like that.
You're going to see the same playbook that you saw with Spencer. Okay. Like they didn't run Spencer, right?
Right.
You're going to see bootleg action. He can run. What got the? All right.
I'm just afraid that he could re-injure the quad.
He can't.
Okay.
He can't re-injure what he's got. It's just what it is it's the. I mean, when you're out for a long extended period of time, Dean, you're going to figure this out.
Right.
And he's 21 or so, but his muscles weren't used to it. So when he took off and ran, it was basically like having a cramp. Like his leg just gave out on him because his legs weren't used to that quick explosion to take off and run. He should have been probably working on a lot of that, but he can't. He can't really re-injure what he's got. It just has to heal. The body just needs to repair itself.
Okay. All right.
So what you're going to see is you're going to see bootleg passes because that's where he excels, is throwing on the run. I mean, you're going to see a lot of run, play action, all the stuff that you've seen. What you won't see, is my guess, would be the quarterback runs that they possibly could have put in there. Probably, not
zone read plays.
Yeah,
or something
probably
like
not
that.
any of that kind of stuff. Unless he's giving it, right? It wouldn't be much of a zone read if he's giving it every time. But, yeah, you're right, Dean. I don't see any quarterback running because that would just be silly, especially against a team you're probably going to dominate.
Right.
If everything is going to plan, I don't see why Cade would play the second half. Because his muscles do have to get stronger. The only issue is his muscles have to get used to running again. His muscles have to get used to going from 0 to 60 like that, right? Like coming out of the blocks on 100-meter dash type stuff.
You would have think he would have been doing some running or getting on the bike and working those muscles.
I mean, you would think, but I don't think he did. Wasn't he just cleared right before fall camp?
Oh, yeah, because
I don't think he could do much in the spring even, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
and that was because he was 4 or 5 months away from his surgery.
Yeah. So I mean that's why, is because they probably just treated him like a freaking, they just like some soft tissue. He probably had a bunch of padding around. His muscles probably didn't get much of a workout.
Yeah. So what I'm afraid of is the coach going to play a little dirty and tell his guys to get after Cade and get him tackled on that leg.
I mean, that happens. That happens across every school, but they have to touch him first.
Yeah.
And if Iowa plays their cards right, he won't even get touched, right?
That, considering the O-line we've had the last couple of years, that would be a miracle.
Not really. Spencer didn't get touched against Nebraska until it was his fault. We showed on tape.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was 1 for 6 passing with a clean jersey. Just let them play.
Good.
And help them. And Cade will. Cade will see what's coming on defense. That's going to be the biggest difference, will be accuracy and an ability to see what defense that the other team is in. So, It won't be a miracle. That's why I want this offensive line. Like I keep getting excited about the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I want this offensive line to experience a quarterback. Because the last couple of years haven't been all on the O line. It's been on the quarterback, not calling out the right protection. So not seeing it when you're blitzing 6 against 5, having the quarterback see that they got a 6th rusher. They can't block all 6 with 5 because they're in empty. Like they were in empty a lot against Nebraska, right? So that's why I don't care who starts. If Rusty ends up, taking over, then I don't care. But I want this line, and it appears they're really good, to experience a quarterback that knows what's going on game day.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's why I get excited. Just watch what this offensive line does. Now it's Utah State. I'm not going to get too excited, but just kind of pay attention to how this. Remember last year against South Dakota State, everybody blamed the O-line, right?
Right.
So, but this team's not even as good as South Dakota State. So,
yeah. Not even close.
So
it's amazing how South Dakota State, if they'd moved up to at least the group of 5 standing, I think they would do really well.
Right. So I just want this offensive line, these particular guys, to experience a quarterback that knows what's going on game day. That's just my thing. But if it turns out Rusty takes over left guard, so be it. But yeah.
Okay. So let's have a little fun. Well, maybe we should wait till Paul gets back. I want you to predict Iowa's first play from scrimmage.
Oh, I already done that. I did that on Twitter. I have that saved.
What you got? Now, what do you have?
Well, back when I did this, I think it was probably a month ago. We were having a lot of fun as Iowa fans on Twitter. I said, I changed this now to where I don't care about the personnel. The first play of the game, I want it to be a play action pass, throw it deep to any wide receiver. Okay. On Twitter, when I first said it, I said to Caleb Brown, because I'm excited for Caleb Brown, obviously. But he probably won't be on the field on the first play unless they're in spread on the first play.
You don't think he will? Okay.
Well, he backs up Regini, if I remember right.
I think it's the other one, Dante Vines.
So Seth Anderson backs up Regini?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, if they go 3 wide or 4 wide, then they'll be out there. But yeah. I want to see them on the first play, whoever their fastest receiver is. And it might be Seth Anderson. I'm not sure. But I want them just to go deep. It's probably wet gin, but they won't use wet gin. But I told you why.
Yeah, I figured that out, and it's sad because
hey, you gotta have.
I like the guy, and I like his uncle.
Well, yeah, but I want him to return kicks. But if he doesn't, he's a walk-on, so he's got to go the extra mile. And the videos that I showed you. You can't have your helmet off, sitting there waiting to do a drill. You can't lollygag through the drill if you want to play. You have to stand out. So you got to be Rudy.
Which I'm reading a thing up that Rudy was a little bit inaccurate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I'm talking about the movie.
I know that's.
I don't care about Rudy. The true story, but.
Okay, I am trying to get us some games to pick. I wanted to pick, and we'll pick again like we do, but I want some games that are going to be on the kind of the tougher side. Man,
you should have had this going before we hit play.
I know it.
Good thing nobody's watching you. They can fast forward through this when they watch it later.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, okay. I don't know. Oh, Paul, where are you, Paul? Must be important. Kind of losing my train of thought here.
You can't do that. Well, you can't come up with the games. Like, what are you trying to get?
Oh no, I got some games for us to pick out to pick. I was just waiting for Paul to come back.
Well, don't wait for Paul. I mean, because people aren't going to want to sit here and wait when they watch
Okay.
it. So
Yeah.
we can go to it and then go back to Paul, and he can pick them in order.
All right, I'm gonna pick. I got 5 games I'm picking. Okay, this week. Okay. Well, most of them are pretty easy.
You said that ESPN came out and said that Cade's starting.
Yeah, I saw a thing that popped up on my news feed that said that there was an update on the Cade thing, and I thought, oh, they're probably just talking about the news conference yesterday or the day before, whatever day that it was yesterday. And I thought, I'm not going to look at it. Then I saw that it was posted 31 minutes earlier, and I thought, maybe it's worth reading. And they're saying that they're hearing reports now that Cade will start Saturday. It's probably because yesterday was his first real practice, and he probably had to get up today and say he wasn't sore, and make sure that they had to make sure he passed all the protocols, because you guys know that Kirk Ferentz is always coy about these kind of things, and he does that so that he doesn't have to tell you one way or the other. And Kirk has always been, when it's coming back to putting people back on the field after they've been injured, he always has been more conservative than not, that he doesn't rush anybody back. He'd rather them have a couple of full practices, full speed ahead with no complications before he puts them back on the field. You guys have known that for a while.
Well, Kurt is live right now as we speak. So that's what made me wonder, is Kirk talking about Cade starting right now? So
He could be. I don't have it on.
Is he going to finally be honest about everything? That's my question. Because like I said, I wasn't. Yeah. Everybody knows how I feel. I put it on Facebook. I already knew what was going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the games I picked out. Okay. Here's the one tomorrow night: Nebraska at Minnesota. Who do you got?
Minnesota 21-17.
Minnesota.
However, there's a caveat. Let me explain this to you, since I live here.
Okay.
So I've been telling the truth about Nebraska for years, and I've been right for a while. So I'm bound to be wrong sometime about Nebraska. And they're getting tired of hearing me talk about Jeff Sims. But let me tell you, if Iowa lives and dies off of teams not being patient, right? Because they intercept you. Their pass defense is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But you can run it at Iowa. Nebraska this year is that way. It's the same thing. If they go run heavy, power with Jeff Sims, and he only passes 20, 25 times at max a game, Nebraska will go bowling. If they are impatient and they have Jeff Sims throwing the ball over the yard, then they're going to win 3 or 4 games. He's going to throw 25 picks.
No, that was Scott Frost. That was Scott Frost's plan.
Well, no, right.
To have his quarterback throw when he's not capable of it.
But this head coach, like Matt Rule, likes to throw the ball as well.
He does. I forgot about that. It's
all about the patience. Look at Iowa State. Same thing. Like I was saying about Iowa State years ago. They could beat Iowa if they would just run the ball. Mm-hmm. They had 2 NFL running backs. And the one dude, I can't remember his name, last couple of years, or 2 years prior to last, he averaged 5 yards a carry against Iowa. But what'd they do? They thought they had to throw the ball, and Purdy threw 4 interceptions. They would run the ball all the way down the field, and then they would throw a pick. It's like, and look what Purdy's doing with the 49ers. They're using him the right way. He hit the lottery going to the 49ers. Purdy is not a spread quarterback. He's a play action. He's a Cade-type quarterback. This is why I'm excited about Cade at Iowa. Iowa runs the perfect system for Cade. Where Michigan ran the spread, and Cade is not a spread-type quarterback. So, which is why his numbers weren't, everybody brings up his numbers at Michigan. Nobody throws the ball well at Michigan. So, so that's my Nebraska, for everybody to hear. If they power the ball, they don't throw the ball more than 20, 25 times a game, they're going bowling. How about you, Paul?
Sorry, guys. I had to take that call. It was
You're
It was
fine.
important. So what did I miss? Where
well, we're
Nebraska,
picking games.
Minnesota.
Yeah, you got to pick the game. Nebraska at Minnesota.
I'm going to take Minnesota. It's at Minnesota. It's a Thursday night game. I just Minnesota knows who they are. I'll take the Gophers at home at night.
It's -7. So, do you pick Minnesota to win by more than 7, or are you close game?
Yeah, Nebraska will cover the 7. I think.
I'm with you. I agree 100%. I mean, it could fall off the rails. We don't know what Nebraska's really like, but if they run the ball, I think they'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. All right. I'm also picking Minnesota, guys, and I'm picking a close game.
Yep.
I believe Nebraska will win 6 or 7 games this year. I really do. They've got the schedule for it, but they also don't have the schedule to go 8, 9, 10, 11 wins.
It all depends on their philosophy, in my
Right.
opinion.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and like you said, they're going bowling this year. All right, guys, here's one. You and I at Iowa State.
I guess I'll go first. Give me Iowa State. Close. Iowa State by 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, my mind, I'm going back and forth to like a 24-21 type game. God, Iowa State could be. I mean, this is going to be Campbell's best coaching year. They may only win 3 games. If they win 3 games, this might be his best year of coaching. They don't. God, I'm going to probably pick Iowa State as well because they do have more talent, right? If you put the rosters side by side, but UNI has a lot more, continuity and like they're just more of a team.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State plays pretty good defense. That 3-3-5.
Yes, you're right. I mean, they lost their best defensive lineman, right?
Right. He got drafted.
Well, that and they lost one to gambling.
That too.
So they're down.
They're down 5 potential starters from this year.
for gambling.
Including their quarterback.
Yeah, including their quarterback and their running back, both of them.
Yeah. I heard a thing. I was listening to KXNO this morning on their podcast, which is actually their radio show, which they load up for podcasts. So I'm listening to it this morning. And Matt Campbell had his show yesterday, or his news conference. He says he's still not settled on his quarterback for the weekend. I think he knows who he wants, in my opinion. He's just not telling anybody yet.
Either way, that's not a good thing. I mean, I think if you know who your quarterback is, you say. Mm-hmm. If you really don't, yuck.
But I mean, Kirk did that last year. I don't know who's starting. Everybody knew. Yeah. Remember? He kept saying it's a competition. They're both looking good. So I kind of get that, but I think JJ Cool probably starts.
Yeah, I think those guys that's who they mentioned was probably going to be the starter.
JJ?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He wanted to be a Hawkeye.
They were also saying too that if you got 3 quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks.
Right. He wanted to be a Hawkeye, but Iowa chose Marco, my man, over JJ.
Yeah. I would fully expect Marco to be ready by next year.
Oh, God, yeah. If Cade leaves, I'm hoping Marco. Although, I mean, Deacon might get down to 240. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Darlo Espy has Minnesota by 7, and UNI. Okay, Jason, did you make your pick for Iowa State UNI? I didn't listen.
I did end up – I said Iowa State 24-21 only because, I mean, Campbell has recruited better, than the past. But, I mean, I totally see UNI winning this game. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I
got UNI.
No? Well,
I'm feeling confident about UNI.
UNI.
The only reason why I'm doing that is
because you're a UNI guy.
Well, that too. I'm UNI over Iowa State anytime, but UNI is picked as one of the top, the lower level teams this year, and they're projected to get a playoff berth today.
They're
and
ranked.
I just don't know where Iowa State is right now until we watch them in the first game, and I don't even the game against us, even if they would beat us, I still don't know where Iowa State is as a team, because Iowa State, always gets an extra level out of them against Iowa. And so,
yeah, I mean, normally you're right. I just don't see that this year. But like I said, I mean, we'll find out. Utah State's the same way. Like they lost half their roster. They lost a coach. Like, so there's some teams that Iowa has to play that you really don't know what's going to show up.
Right. Okay. Next game, I have Florida at Utah.
That's tomorrow night.
Is it? Okay.
Who you got, Paul?
I'm going to take Utah. Home team. Kind of Florida traveling out. The Hurricane just went through Gainesville today. I mean, give me Utah there.
Okay. I would say that Florida is probably already in the state of Utah, because the game's tomorrow. I don't think they rode out the storm. I think they left already.
It still gives you a sense of your home. Our home just went through a hurricane.
Right. Yeah.
If Cam Rising plays, Utah wins.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's in the same situation where he was hurt and he might be back. We'll find out. But if Cam Rising plays for Utah and he's healthy enough to do something, obviously, I think Utah wins. But if they got their backup quarterback in, I'm not too sure about Florida this year. There's so many teams that are high on them, right? Or so many people that are high on Florida.
They're high on Florida State, not Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, I don't know who's high on them because they're not ranked.
Right.
Oh, they're not right. Maybe I'm thinking of Florida State.
You're thinking of Florida State. A lot of they're top 10 preseason team.
That's my bad. You're right. I was thinking Florida State.
Has Florida ever been the same since Urban Meyer left?
No.
I mean, they've had flashes, but I don't think they've ever been the national caliber type team that Urban had them at.
They're clearly in the SEC pecking order, clearly behind Bama, clearly behind Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I think LSU beats Florida State, by the way.
Well, that game,
I'm ready for that game.
List here. You might have jumped the gun.
What's that?
My bad. I'm sorry, my brain. I tell you guys, my brain.
I also took Utah. The next game I have on our slate, and I was trying to pick games I thought would be kind of interesting because most people are playing blowout games. Boise State at Washington.
Ooh.
Want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Jason.
I got Washington. Like that one. I think Washington's going to be one of the better Pac-12 teams. I do not have them ranked. What are they? Top 10, I think. Top 15.
Yeah, they're like 14, I think.
Okay.
Nope. No, that's Utah. Utah's 14. I didn't write down Washington's rank, but they are ranked.
Washington. I think they're going to be good because their quarterback is really good. They may win the Pac-12. They're going to be right there with Utah and USC. Those three teams, I believe, are going to be the teams that come out of the Pac-12. So I'm going Washington.
The grass is green in Washington. I'll take the Huskies. If they were playing on the blue field, I might feel differently.
Right.
But,
that's because they can't see the Boise State jerseys on the blue field.
That's right.
Yeah. Darla wants to know if the Utah QB is going to play. I think Jason just said, but it's not sure yet. Yeah, right? Sure.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Darla wants to know if Utah QB is going to play.
Don't know quite. I don't know if he's been named starter at this moment. Like, it's right there. It's going to be a game time decision, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The final game I chose for us, I'm only choosing 5 each week now, guys. Okay. West Virginia at Penn State. I think I know where everybody's leaning on this one.
What team? What'd you say?
Oh, go ahead, Paul. Your turn. West Virginia at Penn State.
Yeah, I don't think this one will be particularly close by the end. I think West Virginia will put up a fight, quite possibly literally, because there's some bad blood between the schools.
Yeah.
But in the end, Penn State's just way too much for them.
Right.
Yeah, I think Penn State can run the ball on every down and beat West Virginia. They got the 2 best running backs in the Big Ten, in my opinion. Penn State's going to probably dominate this game. Their defense is salty. The only reason I struggle with Iowa against Penn State is because of their defensive line. Like, Cade's going to have to play his best game of his career against Penn State because the offensive line will struggle against Penn State. So Cade will have to, get the ball out quick. So I'm going to go with Penn State. I mean, it may be close for a couple of quarters, but that second half, Penn State's going to just wear on them.
Yeah, it's probably going to wind up being something like 35-17, but
yeah, I can
really
see that.
Close.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I also picked Penn State, but just for the record, let's talk a couple of things.
What's the
is
spread?
this the year that Penn State can actually win the West? I mean, not the West, the East. Can they do it?
No.
Can they run the table?
No.
Okay.
Not with Alar as their quarterback.
Okay.
Just in general,
can they beat one of the two, Michigan or Ohio State? I know
Yeah.
Michigan's the heavy favorite right now.
I don't think so because of their quarterback. But Paul thinks, their quarterback, he's just another one of those overblown. I mean, he could prove me wrong. I evaluated him out of high school. I did not have him as high as everybody else. I think he was the top. He might have been close to the top quarterback in his class coming out of high school, and I didn't.
I think they have enough talent.
They do.
I know they're going to have Ohio State is going to be a whiteout night game. I think they can get one of Michigan or Ohio State. I don't think they can get both. I'm not confident they can. I think Iowa has a chance to go in there and win.
Yeah.
So it's really tough. I don't see them going undefeated. But do I think they could knock off one of Michigan or Ohio State? Yeah, I do.
I would think Ohio State at this point. Ohio State doesn't seem to be as stable or on the same footing as they have been in the past. And I could see them losing to somebody else besides Michigan this year. Granted, they still got a roster full of 5 and 4 stars. Granted, everybody in the nation, because of their reputation, has still got them right up there. I think they're ranked number 2 or 3 in the country, and the other one's number 2, I think. Michigan's like number 2, and Ohio State number 3 or something like that.
Number 4. I think either they're number 4. Alabama's number 3. Like Georgia's number 1, Michigan, Alabama, and then Ohio State. I believe.
Right. I don't know how long that will last. Probably a good part of the season until Ohio State has to play some teams. Real teams.
That Ohio State Notre Dame game's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for that game. Now that Sam Hartman is Notre Dame's quarterback,
they look better against Navy than I expected.
Who did he play for? Somebody else before? Navy?
Yes, he played.
Not Navy, but Notre Dame.
He played for Wake Forest, and he's got the ACC all the passing records, I believe.
Oh, okay.
He threw 110 touchdowns at Wake Forest, and then he transferred in. And I have Notre Dame because of Sam Hartman. Like I said, I'm a quarterback guy. I'm quarterback driven. Because of Sam Hartman, I think Notre Dame could be in the national championship picture. Okay. Also because of their schedule. Right. A 12-0 Notre Dame team is going to the playoffs regardless.
Right. And if they go 12-0, they beat Ohio State. So
you're right.
But that means they would also beat USC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I think they beat USC because USC doesn't play defense.
Okay. Eric Gold says that Notre Dame upgraded at QB more than anyone. Here's a question for you guys. Purdue's quarterback, the guy, I think he's out of Texas or something.
Yeah, Hudson.
He's got a lot of great passing stats too and stuff.
He's another one I
would he be a huge upgrade right there?
No.
Is he better than O'Connell?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I think O'Connell has proven me right at the Raiders right now. I don't know if you saw his preseason.
I did. I watched it. He did very well.
But anyway, I don't have I think O'Connell's a better quarterback. He's more accurate, I should say. It all depends on the style that Purdue runs, right? I don't know how they're going to use Hudson Card, so it's hard for me to say. I just know I evaluate him. I did not value him like he's a 4-star. He's a good quarterback, but he's not a game changer. Granted, O'Connell wasn't either. However, he worked his way up to being a draft pick. He's very accurate. He had 70% completion percentage before he decided to throw to Charlie Jones every play, right? The season before. So, no, I mean, I don't think it's an upgrade there. Star-wise, yes. Coming out of high school-wise, yes. Overall-wise, at this point, no.
So, I know we'll talk about this later, but can he beat Iowa with this passing game?
No.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
No, they won't beat Iowa. Not even close. I mean, they don't have a defense, and Iowa's defense is just so salty. See, Iowa's defense is the connection to wins, regardless of what we all think. Everybody wants to see this high-flying offense. But if the offense just jumps up a level, a tier, just one, right? Just one tier. I mean,
just don't be the absolute worst in the country.
Right. Get up in the top 80 in total yards in that area, top 50 in scoring like he did a couple of years in 2018. Like if the 2018 offense happens this year, this team's undefeated. Right. In 2018, Iowa lost to Purdue 38-35 or some 38-36, something like that. So this defense is so salty that it's going to take away. Purdue's not beating Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The announcers for Saturday's game, what do they talk about first? Do they bring up the gambling issues, or do they bring up Cade McNamara first?
They'll bring up Cade and the injury.
Yeah.
They'll talk about it, and I pray that he wears a knee brace. I love how everybody's coming at me because it's a muscle tissue injury, right? Yes, I know this. But when a quarterback had a knee injury, knee surgery, I would like him to wear, even if it's a smaller brace, to protect the knee. I'm not worried about that dang muscle injury. I mean, I already know what it is. I told you I was told from people that know inside the program a long time ago. I told you guys this. I don't care about the muscle because the muscles will just repair themselves and get stronger, which is what he needs. He needs to get his legs back. He went through 2021 unscathed. He's not injury prone. He had one injury, and then this happened because of his last injury, basically, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I just want a knee brace.
Okay.
That's all I care about.
You guys will be glad to know Kirk Ferentz stream has been knocked off the air.
What do you mean?
I have it on my telephone. I've been watching it. The video has been removed. Something went wrong. They have removed his video.
Interesting. Okay.
Something. I wonder what happened.
Well, we'll finish ours, and then we'll go back and find out.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we have any other games? Now, are we going to do the challenge this year like we did last year?
What's that? The games?
Yeah, where I was kicking everybody's butt. You got salty and stopped recording?
Yes. I've got it recorded in my notebook. We're not going to lose it this year.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay? Because
you only lost it because you were getting your butt kicked.
Yeah. I was actually hanging in up there with you. I was close to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this year I'll either start in last place or first place because we picked four games. We picked the same, and the only game we changed was Iowa State UNI. So
by the way,
either I go 5-0 or you guys go 5-0.
Right. I'm not gambling this year, so I don't have time to. So, if anybody makes to the end of this video, then don't ask me. I'm just trying to let people know I'm not doing it this year. I don't have time to do it this year, so there's that. I'll give advice. I'll tell you what I believe, but my beliefs won't be as a matter of fact in my brain like they usually were. Because I usually watch 40, 50 hours a week of football.
Not
before
this year.
I gamble. What?
Not this year. You got your health to worry about. You got to pull back, baby.
Yeah. I don't have near the time. Plus, my brain's not working as well. As you guys can tell, it's jumping around.
Yeah.
You get me talking about something, all of a sudden, oh, Butterfinger. Oh.
Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
Right.
Oh, guys, not that this is not a foregone conclusion, but you notice I didn't pick the Iowa-Utah State game as one of our games.
No.
Well,
I thought we all gave our.
We gave it, but let's do it. Add it to make it the next game. We're right at an hour. We're right at your threshold, so let's do that. Utah
State at Iowa. Go.
Speaking of that, there's a lot of money pouring in on Utah State. If you guys didn't. The spread has now gone down to 23.5, and the over-under is 43.
You know why, right? Because of the Cade rumors.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, yeah, maybe that was Kirk's thing all along because he's tired of the gamblers.
Screw them gamblers over.
Yeah, put your money in Iowa State.
All right, I'm assuming that you both got Iowa.
Well, I got Iowa. If Cade plays, I have Iowa. Probably 38-6 type of game, maybe even a little bit more than that. But even though I'm hoping they do take him out at half, I hope it's like 28-0 at the half. They let him do some in the third quarter, do his thing, and then just kind of put Hill in there and let him finish it out.
Yeah. With Cade probably going to be, with the knee injury and everything, and could be injury prone, it would probably be a good idea not to play Cade the entire game and give Hill and Joey more playing time.
Joey's hurt. He won't be able to play. He came back, but he's going to be like an emergency. They're not going to want to hurt him more.
Right.
So it would be Hill. But don't say injury prone. He went through 2021. Don't put that in the universe.
Okay. All right. I will not. That's a bad luck. I won't do that. Okay. There's a strong possibility with a knee injury it could be re-injured. All right?
Right.
We want Cade to stay healthy and get to play as many games as he can.
He just needs to get stronger.
But yeah, we just need to get Hill out there in this game. So hopefully Iowa does its thing, puts away Utah State early in the first half, and Deacon can come out the second half and show us what he's got and get a little game experience.
I mean, this could be a game where Iowa has 300 yards rushing. Like, it could be one of those games. If, just do bootlegs and stuff to keep drives alive, but just pound the rock. Let Cade's legs get stronger, right? Get him out there with the cadence. It's more about letting the players get used to him talking, right? Getting used to his cadence and stuff like that. No false starts. Get used to how he does everything. And I could totally see them, even if Cade plays, pounding the rock and maybe throw it deep a few times to show off his arm.
My prediction for this year is Iowa takes the football on offense. Our first play is a jet sweep.
Oh, yeah.
And then our second play is going to be a play action, Cade to Eric All, right down the seam. And it's going to go for 45-yard touchdown.
So your first play is a fly sweep.
Yes.
Did you hear what my first play was? I don't remember if you were here. My first play is a play action pass deep. I originally on Twitter, we played this game, and I had him throwing to Caleb Brown because I'm excited for his speed and everything. But looking at the roster, it probably won't be to Caleb Brown unless they come out in the spread.
Probably be Nico.
Hey, but Nico isn't the guy he's gonna route you up, but he's not gonna burn past you. But it could be. You're right.
But Cade will see Nico running wide open, and then he'll have the ability to actually complete it to him.
Right. Nico could catch 80 balls this year.
So, all right. So who catches your first pass?
Eric All.
Eric All?
Yep. And it's going to be a 45-yard touchdown pass.
And who catches your first pass, Jason?
Regini.
We're
going to go with him. Just because of it may not be a deep ball, but it's going to be a wide open something in the middle, or he's going to route somebody up on third down.
Okay, I'm going to go Kirk S here. I'm going to believe the first play from scrimmage is a running play.
No way.
Zone
Johnson.
No way. That's
zone to the short side.
Johnson up through the middle, and he gets like 20 some yards.
Outside zone to the short side of the field. Absolutely. That's nothing says Iowa offense like outside zone to the short side of the field.
You know why they do that, though, right?
The numbers.
We've discussed this. Yes.
Yeah.
The numbers.
Yeah. All right. And my first, also, I'm going to go with Eric All as the first person to catch a pass from Iowa team. Just because of the trust level between Cade and Eric.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
All right. Okay, first interception of the game. Who gets it?
X. Oh, did I jump in there too quick?
I was going to say X too, just because he floats in the middle, right? I'll say Cooper then.
I think they're going to try to avoid Cooper. There's a lot of hype around him.
But when you run the air raid, it's almost impossible to do because you want to throw it all over the field, right? You don't want to lock in on one guy because the receivers pick their routes off of what the defense is doing. So that's why I was thinking X like you, because he's going to be around the middle. So if a ball just floats too high over receiver, I mean, he's playing back there, playing center field.
Or you've got, biggins like Yaya Black. What is he, like 6'7", 6'8"? We're talking about a guy that, if he can get his hands up, get some balls knocked up in the air. And
oh, yeah, for real. You bet. Which is how Iowa gets a lot of their picks, off deflections. I can see that too, Ari.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm also picking Cooper to get the first interception.
Yeah. I think you might see Iowa get up 21-24 at halftime, and then you're going to have a very boring second half. I think
I'm going to really be disappointed if we've only, in an entire half against Utah State, we've only scored 3 touchdowns and a field goal. That's only 4 possessions, dude.
Right, but it's the first game with these players. I could totally see it taking a couple drives to get used to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting used to being on. I mean, Kate's got to get used to, being on at Kinnick, right? And
right.
So, I mean, just putting everybody together. I could see some little kinks happen where they don't score, in the first couple drives, but they look good, and then they just slowly just take over the game.
Yeah,
I can see that happening. But I would be, if the game ends 24-0 or something, I'm going to be like, ew.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they do what Paul said, which, God, can you imagine if they did this to Brian and shut him down, knowing what's in his contract?
Yeah.
Like the bowl game, when Kirk shut him down, that's why they got into this big fight on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. Because it was 21-0 at the half, and Kirk shut down the offense. Kentucky had everybody on the line of scrimmage, and Brian had her do a run play.
Here's what my thing with this, though, is at the end of the day, it's still wins and losses. I know the contract says he needs to score X amount of points or whatever, but, if Iowa's 12-0 in the Big Ten championship game, gets into the playoff, nobody's going to care if we average 24.8 points per game.
I mean, you're right. It does come down to wins and losses. I mean, wouldn't that be something for the Iowa fans, though? They average 24.8 points per game. They're 12-0 in the playoffs, 13-0. They'd have to be 13-0 and in the playoffs. And then, whatever happens at the playoffs, but then he still remains his job, but he didn't score 25.
Right.
Some Hawkeye fans would just have a fit. And I'm here for it.
Exactly.
Okay. I was going to have you guys answer a couple more of these what ifs. How many yards does Johnson get?
Oh, 200. Like I was saying, I think this is a game where okay, let me just rephrase that. You said yards, but yards take carries. I think he averages around 8 yards a carry, right? Okay. So it will depend on how many carries he gets to get the 200. Like I told you, the coaches are so excited about this offensive line. And Cade will start. I don't want to, stop with the conspiracy theories. But he's going to do the Cade thing. He'll be accurate. He'll complete passes, right? So, no, I think he averages around 8 yards a carry.
Okay,
No.
I got you there. What you, Ball? What do you got for it?
I've got too much scar tissue from over the years of watching Kirk Ferentz offense. I think if he gets 112, 122 yards, they pull him because they want him healthy for the other 12 games we're going to win. So I mean, I don't see the only way he hits 200 is if he has like 4 50-yard runs.
That might happen.
No, that's why I went to yards per carry. I think this will be one of those a big game like the Purdue game a year ago, where he had over 200 yards rushing, if you remember, and he averaged 7 yards a carry, I think, against Purdue a year ago. But I think that's what this is going to be. But this isn't even Purdue's defense. This is worse.
I had my guy last year. My surprise guy was Jazz Patterson.
Yeah,
I think he might end up with more yards in this game because I think he's going to carry the load in the second half. And he's just going to get more carries. I mean, Iowa's going to have a comfortable lead. And we're just going to feed.
Like I said, I think as a team they get over 300 yards rushing.
That's possible.
I mean, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good day. Like I said, the coaches are so excited for this O-line, as an entirety. I think that's a huge factor. I think the fact that Cade will know what to do in certain situations is going to help the offensive line. It's going to be fun.
Okay.
So what do you got, Dean? How many yards did you have?
Oh, I had 200, but I didn't go by yards per carry, which is probably the smart thing to do because he's gonna knock off a lot of yards quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason he wouldn't get 200 is if what happens, like what Paul said, right?
Yeah.
I
don't necessarily think that what Paul's saying could happen because, we've had other 200-yard rushers and Kirk's let him run. He's let him run.
You're right. But what we're saying that the only reason Purdue happened, is they still own because they couldn't complete passes, right? The reason Purdue happened is because they had to keep running the football to move the ball, which is probably what they should have done against Nebraska. I mean, they had a couple great. We did a video on it, and they had a couple great pass plays that we couldn't figure out why they didn't happen more often. Remember, they threw into the blitz. Regini caught that slant pass, took it to the house, into the blitz. Like they did so many things in the Purdue game that was great. But I think we'll see more of that with Cade because he'll know what to do, and he won't be his brain won't go all fuzzy.
He'll be able to execute it. Not only will he know what to do, he'll actually be able to do it.
Yeah.
Cade's been under pressure. He's been in big games. He's played in big places.
That's a huge thing as well.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, we should probably end this for a couple of reasons. One, it's getting long. Two, Paul's losing his voice. Suffice to say, it is game week, and tomorrow night kicks off with a big game with Nebraska at Minnesota, which I think most of us will be watching.
And Florida, Utah. I'll be kind of flipping back and forth.
Yeah, I'll be flipping back and forth too. I'm more interested in seeing Nebraska on offense. I'll probably just watch Nebraska on offense and then flip to Utah, Florida, just kind of see if Cam Rising is playing. Cam Rising, he's a difference maker. Like he could be on the Heisman list by the end of the year.
Bad Moon Rising.
What?
Yeah.
Bad Moon
Thank you, Ari. We appreciate the compliment.
Thank you, Ari.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Our single watcher. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, we've got 4, but he's the only one talking.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who the other ones are because they never tell me.
All right. Well,
all right, guys.
Jerry. Bye, Ari, and everybody else who was watching who didn't comment.
Go Hawks.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it. Go Hawks.